aka Patters, continuing the conversation of what destroyed the American comic book industry. We must address Gman Collectibles and everything his channel, his social media presence, and the message he conveys, how it helped destroy it. Let's go. AKA Patters! Hey, how about them Bills? Great win last night. Too many interceptions. They got cut down, those interceptions. And oh my god, the Eagles! But guess what? The Eagles should beat the Bucs and at least get a round 2 playoff appearance. Guys, Peter A. DeLuca here, AKA Pad. Just botched the intro. AKA Pad 19. And say it with me, known through Philadelphia, PA, Europe, and the vast multiverse as your eclectic one. Did anyone catch? I even botched that on the last video. I didn't add eclectic one, but we are eclectic here. We live, we love, we draw, we do commentary, we watch endless YouTube videos, we monitor, pay attention to, do our best to track a couple of these influencers, and that's exactly what Gman Collectibles is. Guys, I remember back in the day when he was like first posting on Instagram. Somehow he came up on my feed, and I was there. Like even with those early Instagram posts, I was pulled in to his Omibus Library. Just the spectacle of it all, and at the time, like there was no FOMO in me. Because, you know, I know nearly every single story that those Omibus at that time were putting out. It was just nice to see it. Like, nice dedication. And that's always my initial reaction when people have, like, sprawling spreads. The library here is a little bit organized, but it's mostly chaos. But the people who are just organized tight and have a museum-level presentation to their collection, it's interesting to a point, but then as soon as they start talking about it, you just see them as obsessive OCD people that probably need a chill pill or 3 or 4. So, Gman Collectibles. Now, he's amongst a few others. People copied his shtick, they copied his look, even his presentation for a lot of his videos. He popularized and he pushed forward this idea of obtaining Omnibus, and he's on record of saying that he liked getting into them because he could buy them for 50, 60, 70% off, never pay retail, and you'll get like $100-$200 book for 70% off, and he liked that. And at that point he was able to build a collection, use some of his resources and his salary, trade with others, and he slowly grew his own community. And behind him, on his tail, were other people doing the exact same thing. So here it is, and here's the kicker. Why do we care about the Omnibus? It's ridiculous. I just saw one today. What was it? Oh, it's one of the ones coming out. And someone's like, oh, I want to read this. I don't want to drop $120 to read this. Exactly. That's exactly the effing point. The barrier to entry to get into the story, growing the comic book audience, creating diehard and hardcore comic book fans and followers. We got to focus on the big two here, because the comic book stores, comic book distribution is driven by the big two, period. It's hard to have a American comic book shop thriving without that weekly drip of customers coming in looking for Batman, Wolverine, Spider-Man. And a lot of times, everything that's happening with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, even, the Star Wars coming back with Force Awakens, it's going to return people back to comic shops, and they're going to want to peruse trade paperbacks, hardcovers, so on and so forth. Around me, none of my shops really have an Omnibus selection. There's one shop in particular that sells them all for 30% off, And that's the only omnibuy that they really have in the entire store. But to expect customers and to act like it's a good thing of $100 price tag to enter into a story that would create a hardcore comic book lover, people, this is why there hasn't been growth in comic book historians, comic book news channels, comic book commentators. And by growth, I mean individuals that really do know the material. There's so many people out there, they will just read you Wikipedia articles, they'll do base level research in what they do on YouTube. And a lot of times what they say back to you is, you know, it really is Wikipedia. And to me, it makes my gut hurt. It makes, I'm like, what are you people even doing? Like, you clearly never read this. The omnibuy obsession, forwarded by Gman Collectibles, creates too high of an entry point for new readers. And it's crazy. It's crazy to me that these books caught on, that people act like that they're a good thing. I have a friend in particular, okay, and I'm going on the rant here. I have a friend in particular that says he has a special reading chair for his omnibuy, for his big collected editions. And I'm almost just like, why? Why do you have a chair to read something? This is insane. The idea of, excuse me, we're still sick here, aka Padders, but the idea that you can't spend $20, $15, $30 to get into a storyline, but you can spend $200 or $100, whatever it is, but you can spend $100 and you get like all of it with all the little kind of tiny crossovers. Someone's already done all the work for you. People, that is an error, because what we want to do as comic book fans within the comic book world, we want to mine, we want to dig around, and we want to piece things together. I get it, we have the internet, but even on the internet you have to do some digging. Omnibuys, with their idea of just giving it all to you for $100, takes all the fun out of it, creates too high of a barrier of entry, and does it simmers the fake gurus, it simmers the fake historians, it simmers the people who really don't know the material, can't commentate on it, and in further to that, they cannot help the industry. They cannot help you create, they cannot help me create, they cannot help comic shops. They're charlatans. In a larger scope, this idea of this online personality that so many people echoed and emulated, Gman Collectibles being the center of it all, it hurts. It does. It hurts. It creates weird FOMO, and it takes new readers away from getting introduced to stories that they should normally pay $20 to get into. And people, those Marvel Epic collections too, every one that I touch is $35 to $50. Some of them are over $50. Still the same problem. We need to get the books and the stories and the ideas and the characters and the creators that we love into the hands of people who are most curious about it, while we're in an age where more people know about science fiction and superheroes than ever before in human history. Superheroes have a cool factor now. People know that there are billion-dollar franchises connected to superheroes. That's effing cool. But, good luck reading them.